Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, to the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel. To you, I say Shalom. This is Genesis chapter 19, verse 1. And there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold, now my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, Where are the men which came in to thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. All right. So that was in the King James version, and I got the Good News translation at the bottom of the screen. Let's go to Genesis chapter 19, verse 4. Before the guests went to bed, the men of Sodom surrounded the house. All the men of the city, both young and old, were there. All right, so they compassed the house. All right, trying to sleep with those two angels. Okay, it says both old and young. You see that? That's wicked. Verse 7, he said to them, Friends, I beg you, don't do such a wicked thing. That's wicked, right? This is what they promote in America. They promote and they push out wickedness. Okay? They push out wickedness to the people. They push out wickedness to the old and young. They don't care. All right, they push out being sexual immoral. They push out being fleshly and carnal. Okay? They push forth sodomy. They push forth to be a sodomite, which is wickedness. That's wickedness. You see? It says, but before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. Right? And that's what they're doing. That's what the wicked are doing. They're pushing forth their agenda upon the people. They want old and young to be freaked out. You see that? They push it forth in the movies. They push it forth in the media. They push it forth in commercials, on cartoons, in music. Okay? They push forth wickedness, and they push forth being carnal and freaked out everywhere. Why? Because the wicked are at rule. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the Edomites. are in rulership, starting with the elite banking families. Okay, and they're carnal. As the ruler, so are the people. You see? And you have these wacky tacky Christians. They're they're so focused on us Israelites, they don't rebuke, they're not reproving the wickedness that these other wacky tacky Christians are doing. You see that? These false teachers and false prophets, T.D. Jakes and Bishop Eddie Long, Creflo Dollar, Joel Osteen, Bishop Leroy Thompson, Juanito Bynum, Paula White, Rob Parsley, all them false prophets. They so focused on us. You see that? And they accept freaked out people, which is madness. You know? Let's get Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, in the Good News Translation. Chapter 10, verse 6. Wisdom rescued a righteous man while ungodly people were dying. He escaped the flames that destroyed the 5 cities. Okay, it was Sodom and Gomorrah and 3 other cities. Let's try to get these cities real quick. This is Genesis 14, verse 8. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, the same as Zor. So those are those 5 cities. And it says, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Sadim. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10. And that's why America going to be destroyed, because they pushing forth wickedness everywhere. Okay? Like the scripture saying, 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. The wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth. That just proves that the wicked is Esau Edom, because they're ruling in these last days. Like the scriptures say, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So, hey, the kingdom is very near. All right. And Yahushua's return is very near. All right. Prophecy and is the prophecy with the mark of the beast, and that's near. It's here. Okay, it will be made mandatory according to the scriptures. The CHIP. Okay, the micro CHIP. And it's all prophecy. Everything is gearing towards that MOTB, the mark of the beast. Everything is gearing towards that. And that's according to prophecy. So they pushing forth wickedness. That's how you know this place is going to get destroyed. That's how you know, because hey, what the scriptures say in what Jude, the book of Jude. Let's get Jude chapter 1, verse 7. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. They was going after strange flesh, men with men and women with women and orgies, and everybody just doing wickedness. Everybody just doing crazy things. Okay? Set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Every time we think about Sodom and Gomorrah, and we think about how they got destroyed, how the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, rained down fire upon them. Okay? So we're thinking about this in memory. This is Jude, verse 7 in the GNT. Remember Sodom and Gomorrah and the nearby towns, whose people acted as those angels did, whose people it says, remember Sodom and Gomorrah and the nearby towns, whose people acted as those angels did and indulged in sexual immorality and perversion. They suffer the punishment of eternal fire as a plain warning to all. Mm-hmm. Yep. You do not supposed to live like that. But guess what? That wicked act is being pushed out. You know? You do not supposed to live like that. That's how you know this place is going to be destroyed. That was set forth for an example. This place can pass that. So what you think the judgment is? Destruction. That's the judgment. So us, the prophets, starting with the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the men on down, and the men all over the world that preach this truth in sincerity, calling upon Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, being sincere. They're being hated for this message. And that's moving to the tune of prophecy too, because if you proclaim Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, you know, guess what? You're gonna be a target. This is real. This is actual spiritual warfare. Good versus evil. Let's get that real quick. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 39, verse 27. All these things are good to the godly. So to the sinners they are turned into evil. It's not the one I want. That's a good scripture. There we go. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. This world is carnal. We are not of the world. We're spiritual. We believe in Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. Lord willing, we remain in the truth, and we're godly. Lord willing, we're the godly ones. These sinners hate us. The scriptures say what? How Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai hated the sinners. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 6. For the Most High hated sinners and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. They're the ungodly. We're the godly, Lord willing. Good versus evil. It's actual spiritual warfare, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. Wow. The Christian church, ungodly. They ungodly. Seminary school, ungodly. Steve Harvey, ungodly. Steve Harvey was on TBN on one point. You see? Which TBN is this so-called Christian show, Christian television, Christian broadcasting network, something like that. Roughly paraphrasing. He had a bunch of false prophets on that show. How do I know? Because my mom used to watch that show religiously. Billy Graham was on that show, false prophet. Jesse Duplantis, false teacher, false prophet. He's off. Bunch of false prophets. Benny Hinn, they ungodly. Which brings me to the scripture, because we're not of the world. This is John. Where's it at? John 15. Verse 16. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. No, that's a good one. But I want to, we can keep reading. It says, yeah, that's a good one, yeah. A Lord willing, we're chosen. And yes, Yahweh is talking to his disciples. Lord willing, we remain in the truth. We are his disciples. We are his men. We are his prophets. You know? No, I'm not saying we his 12 disciples. Nah, I'm just saying like we're his friends. Lord willing, we are men of the Lord. You know? Let's look up the word disciple. Yeah. Disciple, a personal follower of Yahweh Shai during his life, especially one of the 12 apostles. It says follower. It says a follower, student, leader, or philosopher. So we're following Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, we're those men coming back, the prophets of old, you know. For the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. Reincarnation Israel. It says the seer, learner, right? Learner. We're learning from the author and the finisher of our faith, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. You know? So the world is losing. We're winning. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai loves us, man. It's good versus evil. You know, prophecy is moving. Prophecy is in motion. Prophecy is speaking. We're proclaiming the prophecies. The world is not. We're doing something right. The world hates us. That means that we're doing something right. And we're reading it in the scriptures that Yahweh Bahashim Shai told us that this is going to happen. So Kal Halayim La Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. All praise to Yahweh Bahashim Shai. Shalom.